What up, it's Marcus with Dynasty Fun. We have a DeAndre Swift signed jersey. All you have to do is be a subscriber for a chance to win. When we hit 2K, we'll be giving it away to one of you guys. We're doing Superflex mock draft. I'm going to be putting the little draft order here. I'm running low on time this week just because I'm getting ready to be out of town for the weekend here. So I'm just going to give you, of course, what I ended up drafting. And I'm going to give you a little bit of reasoning behind why I chose these picks. I chose to be, I wanted it to be difficult. I picked pick 12 in Superflex, which I think is a very difficult spot to be at, and I'll describe to that why. And then tomorrow we're going to be going through a quarterback sleepers, kind of the outside of the top 20 here, outside of even some of the top 24 here. And I do have a quarterback that I did draft that is on that list here. But we're going to start off right off the bat. When you're at 112, the biggest problem is usually, especially in tight end premium, you have the top big quarterback names going off. You have Herbert and Mahomes and Allen. And then you have Lamar and Kyler and if I missed Burrow and Dak, like those quarterbacks are gone. And then you have Jonathan Taylor that's usually gone. And then maybe even like a Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are gone as well. So you're really left with slim pickings. And in this case, I'm between, as you saw, I picked Kyle Pitts. I really want myself a quarterback there. You can really reverse it, Pitts or Russell Wilson. The drop after Russell Wilson that I've described is dramatic enough. And let's just say Russell Wilson was taken here. I wouldn't have reached for a quarterback. I would have taken another wide receiver, one of the wide receivers that would have dropped, which would have been either Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, or I would have taken a running back in that situation, which doesn't make me happy, but again, it's what I would have done. So Pitts is who I chose. I think in tight end premium, he is the difference maker. Again, the next 10 years, you might have the best tight end. In this situation, I am sacrificing. I'm taking Pitts in round 1, but I saw that Kittle went in round 3, Kelsey went in round 3. Like some of these tight ends are dropping into this third round, which makes me wonder if that will stay that way or if they will get moved up into that early third. And I might not have a chance of getting that at 112. So I take Pitts, that difference maker, and I follow it up at 201 with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I think, is a very solid quarterback, a top 12 year-to-year quarterback every single year now that he's in Denver. And so I liked the Russell Wilson pick. I think that there's a drop-off again. You're getting into Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence area if you do not choose Russell Wilson, which is just an area that worries me a lot more. Like that might be a couple year down the road plan. If you're a team that's going to go right off into, I don't know, a 2023, 2024 plan, then that's fine. I don't like that. I majority of leagues, we've talked about it, how they only last like 5 years, but I want to be a competing team in either 2022 or 2023 by the latest. So I want players that are going to be competitive and in their prime now. And Russell Wilson does give that to me. And Kyle Pitts is, I believe that he's going to take even another jump up this sophomore year. Number 3, we get into the category where it's like, okay, with some of the quarterbacks that we wanted, the Fields, the Lance, they're not going to come back into round 3. I don't want a tight end in this situation either. So we have T. Higgins, or we have some other running back decisions here. And I felt like even some of the running back decisions were Chubb, Barkley, just running backs that were kind of all in the same category of 25, 26-year-old running backs. And in this case, I took T. Higgins over some of the little bit older wide receivers, over like a Deontay Johnson, or even, I'm trying to think if Stephon Diggs was in there as well. But I took T. Higgins because I really like his production even last year. And I think he'll be a great, I think him and Chase are going to be great 1A, 1Bs. And you could even say 1 and 2. He's going to be a beta on the team, but he's going to be able to be a top 12 performer, I believe, T. Higgins. He's going to float around 10 to 15, and I want that from a wide receiver 1, and you'll see what I backed up with him. But I did choose Nick Chubb. There was no youthful running backs that I wanted at that point, so I took Nick Chubb. I think he's going to be a solid producer for this 2022 season. I think 2023 as well, honestly, and that's why I chose him here. And I needed a running back, desperate for running back. And I wasn't ready to draft that second quarterback. Usually this is the time where I sometimes will take 2 of the top 4 round quarterbacks. In this case, I did not, and you'll see how I kind of backed up with that. In the 5th round here, we have Derek Carr. Again, we're talking about, I think he's going to have a good couple of years here. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, these are the categories. Tua Tagovailoa, this is the area that you're going to be drafting one of these guys. And in round 5, like if I have Wilson and Carr, I feel very, very confident about my first 2 quarterbacks. I feel great about my tight end, and I'm feeling okay about my wide receiver running back situation. And you can actually see it, but you'll see like how this kind of roster unfolds and what my plan and where my mental thinking is, because we go into, so I had Carr and then I took Chris Godwin. There was multiple different wide receivers to take there. There was a lot of young rookie wide receivers. This was Garrett Wilson territory as well. And I chose Chris Godwin over those guys because I like actually Chris Godwin like as a wide receiver. I think he's talented. If you put him in, let's just say he was a 26-year-old rookie or whatever. If you put him in this class, you'd say, wow, he is kind of Garrett Wilson-like. He has the route running, plays in slot, can play out of slot. Like he can play pretty much anywhere. He has Tom Brady for short term. We'll see who he has long term at the quarterback position. But I love Chris Godwin. He's recovering from ACL injury. That's his biggest question. That's his biggest concern. But a guy who was drafted probably 2 rounds earlier, if his ACL, if he didn't have that injury. And so I think that this is a steal here for Chris Godwin. And then the next round, I'm like, okay, I really need another quarterback. I really need everything still besides tight end. And I took Amari Cooper. I felt like he was the best value. He's going to have Deshaun Watson or Baker Mayfield. Either one I'm okay with. I think Amari Cooper is that wide receiver too at a consistent basis, which is funny because I have a team where I have all 3 of these dynasty wide receivers. I have Higgins, Godwin, and Cooper. And I remember last year it being a stressful nightmare because I kept picking the wrong wide receiver. So I guess I'm doing this to myself again in this league. So hopefully I can maybe choose better on a day or week-to-week basis. But I chose Amari Cooper, kind of sure up my wide receiver position for a little while. And then I did take Ryan Tannehill. He is the last very confident quarterback that can finish into that top 12, 13 range. I don't think Kirk Cousins necessarily can, but I think Ryan Tannehill can with Robert Woods, with Treylon Burks. I think there's a path for him, and he's shown to be very good at rushing as well, that he could be into that even 13, 14 range. I'm okay with that. That ends my quarterback kind of desperate need, per se, unless one falls to me. A hint for the future. And so then the next round, it's like, I desperately need running back. The best running back that I like available, of course, is a guy who plays for the same team as Nick Chubb. It is Kareem Hunt. I do not like having both players on the same team, but Kareem Hunt falling to this position in the 9th round, I am taking Kareem Hunt. If you heard my video, I believe it was just yesterday here, I talked about how if he plays more than 11 games, he's an RB1 every single one of those 3 years. If he stays healthy, both of these players can easily be an RB1, RB2. They've done that in the past. They can do it again. And so then I follow back and I'm like, okay, I need a little bit of, I got 3 good wide receivers and I wanted some of this rookie youth here. So I took George Pickens, who I really, really do like talent-wise. And Pickens was there and Claypool was there. I chose Pickens just as that big, huge boom upside that potentially Pickens has talent-wise. We'll see if he can all put it together in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has had a really good track record of doing that. And who the heck did I pick? The next round, Matt Ryan fell. And if Matt Ryan's going to fall, then I'm going to take Matt Ryan here. Again, Matt Ryan had a really bad year last year, but he's going to have some talents around him. And honestly, this is a player that I'm okay keeping, and if I don't, or I can trade one of the other 3 quarterbacks, probably Tannehill or Carr if they are on fire or if they're doing really well, and I can trade for that position of need. I at least want to have that flexibility. I'm taking Matt Ryan because I think he's the most valuable player in round 11 here, and so I'm going to take him. And if he ends up being a QB2, let's say he's 20th, then I'm still having a decent QB3, and I can trade that other QB away to another team and collect a decent enough running back or wide receiver where I am a little bit weaker than normal teams. But I have round 12. I took Cordell Patterson as hopefully a resurgence here. Again, this is more of a boom play. Like, I am hoping for him to be my RB2 instead of Kareem Hunt. But if not, then it's not the end of the world. So where is my biggest weaknesses? It's running back position. But my team is okay for now, or it's good for now, but it's also good for later. Like, none of these players are going to lose a ton of their value in the next 12 months, besides potentially Matt Ryan if he shows absolutely if he ends up being horrible. Maybe even George Pickens if he doesn't become that boom breakout type of player. But none of these players are going to erase in value. I would even say Nick Chubb is probably not going to erase in a ton of value. So these running backs, these wide receivers, like all these players should hold most of their value, if not gain value. I mean, we're talking about Kyle Pitts. If he has another great year, you're talking about him in the likes of in tight end premium. He could be ahead of the Dak and Lamar group just because of how unique and how amazing and how young he truly is. So that's my team. I don't like pick 12. That's what I've come up to the conclusion. I like really having a dominant, hey, I have Dak Prescott, and then coming around, and I don't even know if I liked having tight end. Having a tight end this early, I have round 1 instead of round 3, really, if you take Pitts away, and let's say you put Javonte or Najee Harris or something along those lines, and you take Chubb and you switch him to George Kittle. Let's say I can get Kittle at 312, or I can get I can't get probably Mark Andrews, but I can say get Kelsey. Kelsey would be more towards that end of his career thing, but let's just say I can get Kittle. If I can get Kittle and Najee versus Pitts and Chubb, it's a hard thing. I like to have the Kittle drop there, but it's I don't think he's going to fall to 312 in a lot of these tight end premium leagues. So he does in some, and he doesn't in a lot, and so that's the biggest gamble, and so that's why I took Pitts right away. So let me know, grade my team. Grade me, give me an A, B, C, or D, not E, A, B, C, D, or F, and let me know what you think, just based off you don't have any of the other teams, just this is what you get. So, again, this is Marcus Nice with that. Peace out. We'll see you again tomorrow.